Hey everyone, I'm Nate Gottlieb. I'm the Public Relations Manager for the Minnesota Corn Growers Association. This summer I'm going to be going around the farms around the state to learn about the ins and outs of corn farming from real corn farmers, and I'm so glad you can join me. So today I'm at the family farm of Richard and Vicki Severson in Clontarf, Minnesota. Richard and Vicki, or Swede as we like to call him, he's a member of our board. They grow corn and soybeans and also raise sheep. And today it's the middle of corn planting season, and we're going to learn all about corn planting with Swede. So come along and we're going to learn what it takes to raise a successful crop.
Good to see you. I hope you had a great drive out.
Thank you.
And boy, what a great time of the year.
Yeah.
You actually did pick a pretty good day.
Yeah,
this
I know,
time.
we got lucky, yeah.
We got lucky.
Maybe could you just tell me a little bit about your farm and the history of it?
Sure, Nate.
Yeah.
My great-grandfather came here from Norway in the late 1880s, bought the first family farm in 1894. My grandpa and my father and myself have all farmed here. My son is interested in farming again. We farm roughly 1,500 acres. The farm has always had livestock on it. When the folks came from Norway, they brought their knowledge of the dairy business with them. And we dairied until 2003. And then the times changed and the market changed, and it just wasn't a good option for us anymore. So now what we've got is we've got the sheep in all of our old dairy facilities. It's a really good fit. And our buildings should last a long, long time with just sheep in them.
So you got into farming, you grew up on the farm, and it was always something you had been interested in this.
I'd always been interested in it.
Yeah.
My folks went through some hard times in the 50s and 60s. They kind of discouraged me from pursuing it, but I knew that it was always in the back of my mind. Met Vicki, and the rest is history. We came home, we started farming. We bought this farm and built that barn in 1982, which is just about as poor timing economically as is possible to have. And yet we're still here. We're still farming. We're doing a little more all the time. If you open up and think about it and project, there's so many better ways of doing things than we had available with the technology when we first started. And so I'm more excited about ag than I ever have been.
Can you tell me a little bit about what we're doing today? I know you have a field of corn that's still outstanding. And
well, if we could quit talking pretty soon, we could get after it.
Yeah.
No, I've got 2 fields of corn left. There's about 130 acres of corn left.
Okay.
We have to get seed, and then we'll go plant. I'll show you some of the tech that's in the tractor already, and it's not the latest and greatest, but it's pretty cool for me, and
awesome.
And I'd love to show it to you.
Great. Swede, tell me about what we're doing here and what's going on.
So we're going to get ready to go plant some corn today.
Okay.
I just hooked up the hose from the fertilizer wagon. We've got a couple 100 gallons of fertilizer in there. We're going to put in. I put on 6 gallons an acre of starter fertilizer. It's a product called 624-6.
Okay.
And a little bit of zinc. And then I'm going to add, today I'll add a little bit of biological product to help the plant fix its own nitrogen. These are called seed firmers. The planter makes a trench, drops the seed in it, and then this goes along and firms that seed down in the bottom of the trench.
Yeah.
And then the fertilizer squirts out in a little V right on the back side of that. So that soaks into the dirt, but not right on the seed itself.
Okay.
And then those wheels push the dirt back in over the seed,
Yeah.
the seed trench.
Yeah. Well, while we're out here, would you mind just kind of telling us about the planter? And because there's so many different things going on here, it might be good just to have an overview of how it works.
So planters used to be so simple.
Okay.
They used to be driven by the ground, and they with a chain and a sprocket and another chain, and meter would turn, and everything worked. As the need for speed and accuracy has gotten higher and higher, and part of our pursuit of higher yields all the time, these have gotten more sophisticated. So to start, we put the seed in these 2 big hoppers.
Okay.
And we can put enough, I could put enough seed to plant 250 acres in these hoppers of corn.
Sure.
And that uses an air fan, and it blows through these black tubes and blows into these seed meters. And so there's that much seed in one of these meters at all times.
Okay.
Then at the same time, this is a fan that creates vacuum.
Okay.
And vacuum comes in these hoses, and the seed disc runs vertically, and there's vacuum on one side and seed on the other. And so as the holes where the seed goes come by, the vacuum picks it up, comes around, and then it hits a little spot where there isn't vacuum, and it drops down and drops down between the 2 opener discs there.
Okay.
It's simple and it's high tech. And then there's a screen that's up on would be up in my upper right hand to the right of the seat, controls the planting functions. It records where things have been planted, so that if when I come to the end, or when I come where 2 planter passes cross, it shuts off each individual row so that I don't overlap or double plant, and I don't leave gaps.
Interesting.
It's way smarter than I am.
It's pretty cool.
It is really cool stuff.
Swede, tell us about the seed you're going to be planting today.
So the first field we're going to plant today was corn last year.
Okay.
And so the seed that we'll be planting has got a biotech trait to defend against insects that are common in 2nd or 3rd year corn. Other than that, it's just a well-adapted variety for our area.
Well, should we get after it? So all 4 of these fields are yours?
Yeah. So we've got corn planted here and here already. We'll plant corn over
Oh, sure.
That one has been corn for 2 years. That'll be soybeans this year.
Okay. So how big is this field?
The field it's a quarter section, 160 acres.
Sure.
There's about 45 acres of wetland and swamp. There's 8 acres of CRP.
Okay.
I figure, and then there's a small spot that we sometimes plant. We can't this year. There's water in it. So I'm planning on planting about 105 acres here.
105 acres?
We just call this field H26.
Okay.
The H stands for Hoff Township.
Okay.
And 26 is the section number.
Got it.
And since it's the only field I have in section 26, it's just H26.
Do you name most of your fields?
They're all serial numbered like that.
Okay.
So that when my crop consultant and I talk about a field, we know what we're talking and we're speaking the same language.
Oh, sure.
In fact, he named them.
So what is this little screen down here? What does it all do?
Well, this screen is the original. It's the John Deere 2630. I'm going to be using this screen to apply the fertilizer and to auto steer.
So do you have to drive it to keep it straight?
I do. I'm steering it right now.
Okay.
And what I'm doing is I'm recording the line that I'm steering, and it's going on the screen. That blinking light means that it's recording.
Okay.
When I get down to the other end, I'll hit save.
How do you decide which field you're going to plant with which crop every year?
So typically in this neighborhood, right where our home base is, we have real high pH soils and not the best drainage, and so we have a hard time growing soybeans here, harder than growing corn. And so
typically our rotation is 2 years of corn, 1 year of soybeans. Although we have gone as much as 4 years of corn if we have to. Places where the pHs are more neutral, we'll generally grow corn and soybeans every other year. And then there's, like last year when we had so many acres that were underwater early, we changed where we planned on planting because I had commitments for so many bushels of corn. I had some fields that I had planned to rotate to beans, I planted corn on because they were ready to go and it was time to plant corn.
So I think people might notice that as you kind of drive through your field, there's a lot of like the crop residue from last year. What's the deal with that? How come that's...
So this soil is very sandy and very vulnerable to wind erosion. If I till this soil black in the fall, I have blowing dirt all winter and spring until the crop gets big enough to shield it. I am always working to find ways to do a better job, to keep more residue on the soil surface, and then still be able to get the seed in the ground at the proper depth the next year. That's one of the reasons for the high-tech planter. Those aggressive row cleaners with the sharp teeth on them will kick out a lot of residue and then still let the wheels get down into the soil.
Do you enjoy raising sheep?
That's a loaded question.
Okay.
I grew up with dairy, and livestock have always been a part of this family operation for 4, now 5, and potentially 6 generations. There's going to be livestock here. I think it makes sense growing the corn that we do to feed it to something here too, and utilize the resources we have, these buildings. We have small chunks of ground that isn't farmable or practical. It makes great pasture. And one thing we've discovered as we've tried to modernize sheep production here is that crop residue is also a great forage source for sheep. And so last fall we had to use this field out here. We couldn't get planted last year because of too much water. So we planted oats in June, and then we grazed them from August to October.
Oh, nice.
And then after corn harvest, we turned the ewes onto the corn stalks.
Okay.
And they just loved it. And like I said, you will kill you for a kernel of corn, and if there's a kernel of corn left by the combine anywhere under those corn stalks, they will find it.
Oh, interesting.
And they search through there, they find that corn, they eat some of the leaves and husks and stuff, and they're great scavengers.
Okay.
So they're a good way to utilize all of underused resources that we do have around here.
Yeah.
And to put it into something that people want. A great lamb chop or a lamb shank or something. People like that, and it's good. It's good for the environment, and it's good for people.
Yeah. Well, Swede, thank you so much for having me out here today. It's been a pleasure.
Nate, it was great to have you here.
Thank you. Yeah.
To show you what it is that we do. Hopefully you can appreciate the background that I'm speaking from.
Thank you. And just to learn more about corn farming and the mechanics of how you guys do it and why you guys do what you do, it's been such a great window into your world. So I really appreciate that. That's it for this episode of Nate on the Farm. Thanks for joining me as we learned all about corn planting. Stay tuned for next time where we're going to learn more about the various aspects of corn growing throughout the season, and we'll see you again soon. All right, go ahead. So, Swede, would you be able to tell us about the seed you're planting today?
Well, say that one more time.
Yeah, sounds good. Swede. Down. it takes to raise a successful crop.
They have to be forward in order for you to get them on. The arms have to be forward.
These arms?
No, the arm on the cap you got in your hand there.
Oh.
Yeah, they have.
I'm gonna have you slate one more time.
Okay.